One of the things that children learn very early playing in the sandbox is that people hurt them for no reason at all. Somebody throws sand at somebody else's face, takes away a ball, and then the teacher or a parent comes along and chastises the one that does the bad thing. And the child, being smart, then comes up with an excuse. I threw sand because they took away a toy. Or I took their ball because they took the ball from me first. And then suddenly the teacher or the parent is in a quandary. Who do I blame? Who do I chastise? Who do I put my hands on as the wrongdoer in this situation? But that's not the real issue. The real issue is what a person learns when they learn how to hurt another person and then find it excusable to have done so. We all have been the object of hatred, and perhaps all of us have known hatred in our heart as well towards someone else whom we feel has done us wrong. Essentially, that is the meaning of this week's Torah reading, where there is a strange people. Ravatsumimenu. Pharaoh declares, there are far too many for us, and we need to deal wisely with them. And then what Pharaoh does is he then conjures up images of the Israelite nation swarming through Egypt, as if they are gnats or locusts or some sort of terrible plague. And he says they're so prolific that they breed like puppies, giving birth in whole litters of children. They're uncontrollable. And not only that, he says, but they're going to join with our enemies and they're going to ultimately destroy us. Note what Pharaoh does in all of this before he can proceed with this program of genocide, is he talks to the people about the insidious evil that exists within them. He needs to convince them that the Israelite nation there poses a great threat and danger to them. In fact, they may not realize it, but they are already in danger from them, and only Pharaoh, with his wisdom, is going to save them from the blight that exists in their midst. The same story happened in the Holocaust, and the same story happens with every genocide that has occurred throughout history. But even that is not the essential nature, I think, of what the Torah means to say to us today. That when we don't like what someone has said to us, when we don't like the way that we've been treated, our natural inclination is to demonize that individual, is to say, they are so bad. Do you realize what they did to me? Do you realize, by the way, what they've done to you as well? I could tell you stories that would make your hair stand on end. And that's how Lashon Hara, evil tongue, evil speech, breathes life into hatred. And this is how we do it ourselves. This is how we perpetuate angst between one person and another person. Most of the time the Torah deals on a very small micro level, but this time it's dealing on a macro level, perhaps because, well, it is what happened in history, but also because of the gross danger that happens when we demonize a people. But it all begins on an individual level. The Torah wants to make us realize that it is so vital to treat each person as they are, as they appear to us, not as we imagine them to be, not as full of filth and disease, not disgusting, but rather a human being just like we are a human being. One final word. When Pharaoh approaches these two midwives, Shifra and Puah are the names, and says to them, I want you to destroy these people, the babies, the firstborn males of every family. He first of all convinces them that these people are really evil. In fact, the word Vayomer occurs twice in the sentence. And the reason it occurs twice is the first Vayomer, which means and he said, was he said to them, all of the terrible things that he could possibly imagine to put a label on this people. And then the second Vayomer was, and kill them. Once they'd been convinced that they were doing something good, then they could carry out the ultimate evil act. So here are the words I enjoin you today. When you are faced with anger, deep-seated anger in your heart, don't let it spread. And don't validate your anger by finding more excuses with which to hate. Because you see, ultimately, what it can lead to. Shabbat Shalom.